Hey, Don Linke here, back with my partner, Rene Izquierdo, classical guitar player, stationed here at UWM, University of Milwaukee, no, excuse me, University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And we did a little history with Rene on our last little conversation, our interview. Today I'd like to ask Rene about what is his teaching style. He has had several award-winning students here at UWM over the course of the last decade plus, and as we witness in the classical guitar world, these students are still coming, and I think he's going to have quite a stream of them as time goes on here. It seems continuous. But Rene, if I could, if you can describe some of your students to us too, maybe, and your past students and your present students. But I'm interested and curious about how you go about teaching, how you assess the students, and what you expect of your students.
Well, number one thing for me is teach them by example. You know, I already have a very solid job, you know, pays my bills. I don't have to play concerts. I don't have to travel around the world. But, you know, in order for demand from them what I need to show them that I'm doing the same.
Yes.
You know, that I don't have time. I also travel. I just like, you know, they go to school. They have other classes to take and papers too and all that. But they still need to find time to learn, practice, and perform because they are performance majors. Otherwise, it's like being in a cave and not doing the craft itself. You're right. Like since 2012 to 2017, we got almost like now 70 international guitar prizes.
Wow.
Like 30 first prizes, 17, 18 seconds, and so on. I had to put it when I did all my papers to get the full professor. I had to like, you know, start adding and put all, or, you know, student successes, and then all of a sudden it struck me like that was a pretty good average.
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah. I was surprised because, you know, over the years you don't feel it. You know,
sure.
Just, you know, you work with a kid, you know. Not that I say that having competition winner or not is a direction of success, but at least it shows really that at least what we're doing is paying some results,
sure.
Giving something back to the student, you know. But I do take more pride, not necessarily on the students that are talented and they come here, but the ones that actually were kind of left on the side. And they didn't quite make it in the audition, and they talked to me and said, if you let me in, I will work my butt off.
Right.
And I said, okay, I'm going to take you, you're going to be my pet project. And a few of them, Hector Torres, Jack Byler, you know, that you let him in. Yeah. And then they went ahead, now they're winning competitions. It's like,
it's a little bit reflective of your story, your personal story, in that, you know, it wasn't all, a bed of roses, by no means. And maybe when Ben Verdery let you into the program at Yale, maybe he saw, you know, that thing of where you were willing to make the commitment, and that's what it takes.
So, I mean, over the years, I mean, my calling, actually, I love performing, and it's part of but my calling is teaching. I love teaching, and I love to see the results when they get it. That means, because music is such an abstract act, and it's so hard to like put some things into words that when it comes across and they get it, that's like the money. This is all what it's about for me. You know, it's like it makes it worth it. It makes all the effort. Because sometimes it feels like you're putting all this energy into a sack that has no bottom. You know, you just put, and just when you get those things back, that's what fuels me into continuing as an educator.
And they're grateful. I mean, they exhibit back to you.
Absolutely.
It's not just a metaphorical gift back to you. It's their true feelings often, I'm sure, come back to you.
We're friends. I mean, I'm their teacher, I'm their friends, I'm their mentor. You know, in many ways it relates into what I'm trying to do here. It's important for me that they get along, that they support each other, because the world is already plenty of, you know, of aggressiveness out there, and everybody fencing for themselves, but in a healthy way, having some level of competition.
Of course.
It's not cannot be all bed of roses either, like, you know, but they need to support each other. They need to like go to concerts, and each other concerts, attend, listen to other concerts. My main thing as a teacher, and it's not one of the phases that I'm going through now. It's like I don't want them to necessarily listen to guitar music. I want them to listen to orchestra, piano, like instruments that the capability are beyond of what an instrument can do. So then when you are trying to recall something, trying to do something musically, that you can have a goal that goes beyond of what our instrument can do. And it's impressive sometimes what you can do with imagination and effort. I mean, if you know the direction of what you want to take, the idea, what can be achieved.
You bet. I think that the idea of not isolating the guitar, not letting the guitar be a incestuous in nature, yes, yeah, because it just feels often that the guitar is just possessed by itself.
Yeah.
And when you are forced, or not forced, but when you are guided to look at the guitar through the lens of other instruments, especially the piano, which has both the melodic and harmonic capability that it does, there's so much that can be learned about the guitar, or for the guitar.
Plus the repertoire, you know, usually the technique of every instrument gets developed by the level of the compositions that are written for it. So the guitar, unfortunately, did not have the composers of the caliber of Mozart, Beethoven. We had our good composers, but never of that caliber. So, of course, the technique of the piano, violin school, all of that developed farther ahead than the guitar ever did. So, part of them listening to that music is also to grow as a musician, because the guitar itself is a very small world. And then if you're only doing the same thing, and then you're doing what this player does and what that player do, then you have the same kind of like, you cannot repeat. You don't come to it with the fresh, with a fresh view of the piece. Having said that, they still listen to guitar, but I want them to first look at the piece like raw, and don't listen to what other people have done before. Analyze it, look at it, and see the form, harmony, tension, resolution. Where does it go? And see what you can do with that. And then, when you already have an image, an idea established, then you listen to what other people do. And then, when you already have a more established idea of interpretation of the piece, of what's happening, then you'll be surprised from one of the things that they're gonna do actually gonna match what the same conclusions you arrived. And sometimes they're gonna be doing something different that you still prefer your way. You know, rather than just play what other people did. You need to think forward, think. That's one of the main thing, exactly. Not to get stuck into the complacent stage of what the guitar offers. Like, that's one of my main gripes with the whole way of the fingerstyle thing. Right. Which I don't want to get to.
Or pop music generally, really. Yeah. And the guitar in pop music. We have a whole segment on that you might want to watch. The dumbing down of guitar. But we're not going to get too political.
We'll retract that.
Right. And here we're actually doing just the opposite. Rene and his students, and Rene's style of teaching is actually feeding the guitar the musical knowledge, or the musical capability that all of music has, and we can share that. The guitar should be able to share in that.
They need to do better than what we did.
Yeah.
You know, they need to keep thinking and moving forward, not just like just repeat the same thing. You know, sometimes for the sake of being accurate, you know, we stop thinking and just like, oh, this is not the way this piece was performed. Back then, first, many people don't know that. If you look, for example, pieces from the Baroque period, you have people that even contradict each other in performance style. You know, say, oh, this should be played this way, this should be played that way. Then, you know, so it's not, that's no different than now. And in the same token, you know, why play a Baroque piece just like they did it on the 1700s? when we have gone through, French Revolutionary War, like 2 World Wars, like all this history, all that baggage has to count for something, and the sake of being accurate, and sometimes I don't think it's the right way. It's like, it's like people trying to hold into something because they are afraid of what comes next. So they're like they're grasping at straws just to stay. Oh, I just want to play Baroque music, and I just want to do this, I just want to do, and it's okay, it's perfectly okay. But we need to keep like working towards what we are going, not necessarily feeding only from the past. Why is our style of music kind of diminishing and dying in some way? It's because we're trying to hold on to the past only. And back then, when Mozart wrote something, that was the last hot item. That's like pop music was back then. That was that, And after 2 weeks, don't you have anything new now? Like you gotta come out with something else.
Yeah.
The same thing. Your creativity and moving forward, not necessarily just living from history. History is great. We should respect it. We should learn from them, and then we should continue making history,
Sure.
not living in the history.
Right, I think that, there you said it, history in and of itself is extremely important. I know that's what you're saying, but you have to let history be exactly that, history. And you have to learn from it and carry on and push forward,
Put your 2 cents in that.
Yeah, put your 2 cents in. Now finally, you have to add yourself to it, otherwise why are you doing it, you gotta feel part and parcel to what you're working with. And that brings me to just one more point. Now, there's 2 things actually. What would you do, I'm gonna just ask you a hypothetical question. What would you do with a student who was very high on himself, who came in and said, well, I'm playing I'm playing La Catedral Barrios, and Berlioz. Barrios, yeah, I was right the first time.
Yeah, you were. And they cannot do it.
And they're doing it poorly, But that's where they think they want to study. That's the level that they want to study at.
Well, first I'd send them out to the door. I'd tell them to read my name out loud, close the door, and then when I heard them, like, who's teaching here? It's me, not them. And I'm teaching them based of, it sounds brutal, but it is. Like, some people have no idea, especially some kids that think that they have the bull by the horns. And no one has the bull by the horns. No one. Like, we don't have it. How could they come in, like, thinking that they do? It's like, it's ridiculous. So, what I do, depending on the case, some kids, you need to let them crash. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, if they don't want to listen, you gotta let them crash. So pick up the parts together. Now you're ready to listen. Let's work. Even talented ones that can play. Look, I don't know if you remember Hazen.
Yes.
Hazen was an amazing player. And when he came in, I only want to do Bach. So this is a music degree. You can only play Bach. But I like Bach. I only want to play Bach. So I let him do the Bach thing, and then eventually I said, well, maybe I should learn something else. And then and then work from that. But it is very important.
And Hazen turned out nice.
Oh, absolutely. He played an amazing recital and did a very ambitious repertoire that he could deliver, which I was very surprised with the ability of commitment that the kid had.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a kid, it's a man. But mainly when those kids come, I need to make them understand that what exactly is what is lacking. And it's difficult, not easy in every case, because sometimes they don't hear it. No matter how much you show them,
that's
they
an
cannot
interesting
see
phenomenon,
it.
isn't it?
They cannot see it, and it's like, wow, really? Record yourself, like record them. I play them. It's okay. Listen to that. Then I put a recording of someone else playing. Right. Do you hear the difference? Like, well, not really. When that happens, then I'm not necessarily saying that I would quit, give up on that student. But I would tell them my 2 cents. Like, this has happened. You have problems in your development. You have problems in here, there, this arpeggios, that. I will break it down. Mm-hmm. Why exactly this is not appropriate for him at the moment, and is creating more trouble than.
You would be very factual. So they would understand if they want.
If they chose to, I will break it down to a point that they understand. Here, you don't have that skill developed yet. This skill, that. Secondly, if you never really played this level of music, then you're only which is interestingly something that happened with Asian players a lot.
Mhm.
If you're only reproducing but you don't understand crap of what's happening harmonically and you know, behind the content behind it is meaningless because
Sterile.
it's exactly sterile because people can feel when you understand what you're doing versus when you're just reproducing. It's not about reproducing. Anyone, like, you know, why some people are better players than others. It's just because they understand it. You know, because nowadays there are many people that can play clean. There are many people that can play well, fast, you name it. But like, it's not about that. It's about the content. What are you trying to say? Because it's an art. It's you know, it's communication. You need to communicate something, and you cannot just communicate cleanness and perfection. That is only for guitarists. You know, the
Right.
guitarists only be like amazed for 2
It's,
seconds.
it's
just
admire.
like-
You could admire
You can
that.
admire that. You're like, wow, okay. But then after 2 seconds, you're okay. What else you got?
Right.
Because it's not enough. It's not enough. It's like, I'm sorry for them. I don't mean any disrespect. It's like marrying a blonde, beautiful, gorgeous woman, and then after you, at some point, you're gonna get tired of looking at her body. Maybe not, but like. You know, you need to carry a conversation. You need to go a little bit beyond than just a pretty body or a pretty face.
Yeah.
You know, that's the content. It's the same. There's no difference in music. We can get
She is a-
amused by
Yes.
that.
I was going to say she is a mistress.
Yeah.
You know, like music is, in your case, your second wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, not your first
Absolutely,
wife.
no, never.
But and listen, that's fantastic. One more, and we're going to let you go because we actually had a student coming in, and he's probably going, hey, I want to make my lesson with
Don't worry, I'll
Rene.
move everybody.
Yeah,
That's not a problem.
So, but the last little part we're going to add on to this is a thought or a question from me to you. And, you know, you've been at this for a while. You certainly have achieved something to be very proud of. I'm proud just to know you, by the way. We always have to shake hands. We hug
Same
each other
here.
a lot of times.
Yeah.
But,
We do.
yeah, we do, yeah. What's your prescription for longevity from here on out? I know I've thought about it probably a little bit more than you've thought about because I'm a little bit older than you at this point. And
I think at every point.
yeah,
Because we're in parallel.
right. Yeah. You're not catching up.
No, not quite.
Well, you know, but how do we not just maintain ourselves, but maintain the excitement and the push forward?
Being genuine. You gotta be genuine and really love what you do and do it. And I'm not being, that sounds like kind of cheesy, but it's not. Like, it needs to start with that. Like, you need to be sincere in what you are trying to cross forward. Second, don't go, if you go with the masses, rethink what you're doing. Because the masses are not necessarily right. Don't go because everyone is going in that direction. The greatest mistakes in history have been done because of that. We gotta like keep thinking for ourselves and think where are we gonna take it and how are we gonna present it? Because now we have a fight with we gotta fight media, we gotta fight all the currents, the trends that are happening that are not necessarily going in the same direction that we want them to go. And we need to keep, because history always comes in loops, ups and downs. And maybe we are in the lower part of the loop, in which melody is kind of not really as important as it ever was, and harmony, that we, like we said. But it will come back. And when it comes back, we need, it's in the lowest point is when we need to be our most hard-working self.
Beautiful,
Because that's
yeah.
what's going to maintain it. So when it comes back up, it's still there, you know. And with that, so that we haven't, or the young generation, they haven't lost that, because those are the ones that are going to be present when the wave goes up.
Yeah.
So we need to nurture that on the young players, the understanding, the art of what we're trying to do, and the effort that it takes to maintain it, even at the cost of like going against the flow. You know, you think what you want to do. Like nowadays, to be a successful artist and musician, it takes wearing many hats. in which playing guitar is maybe 1 or 2% out of the hat
Mm-hmm.
at some point.
Mm-hmm.
However, you know, this is also working as a detraction because the thing is the internet, the web, everything is like the visibility that you want to have out there is pulling your time in every single direction away from the craft, from improving your craft and from keep doing things.
See.
So you need to make sure that you can maintain a balance of how much involvement you're going to put into this and how much involvement you're going to put outwards and inwards.
Yeah.
And the input inwards has to double the input outwards.
I agree.
Because
100%.
it's not, otherwise it does not going to grow and pay
That's
forward.
right.
So, you know, I use Facebook as a way I get a lot of contacts through Facebook. People write me through Messenger, you know. I don't put like, I brush my teeth at 10:05 and 10:06 and going to bed. You know, I use it more of, you know, keep in touch with my friends, but also as a
Business tool. Yeah.
And I try to limit it to, I do 1 hour, you know,
Yeah.
and 1 hour answering emails. I'm not saying just Facebook, in general, of PR, you know, answering emails, getting contracts ready, having things going on, and also, and then the rest of the day teaching and then trying to find out how to maintain my own playing, my own level. So it's,
And beyond.
And beyond, absolutely. No, it's like by this I mean just the ongoing process
Yeah.
of it. It's important to try not to, as I said before, get complacent to what you are at.
You know, I'm
Because it's
gonna tell you something. This man to man.
Yeah.
You're one of my favorite guys, and you're one of, if not my favorite classical guitar player, you're one of only about 600. No, not really. Well,
Good number.
one or two, really. I think you're one.
Thank you.
But
I think
in-
I'm still far away from,
well,
my one. But like,
yeah, and that's good. That's good because of what we were saying. You have to not only do you have to maintain, but you even have to get better than you already are. Because I think, and this is what I wanted to say, I think it's your responsibility to do that.
Yeah.
Once you achieve a level that this man has achieved, then there's only one condition that he should live under, and that is to continually get better, continually teach more and more students to follow in his footsteps, which I have nothing but faith that he is going to continue to do that. And like I said once again, I'm so proud to have known you and to continue knowing you. We haven't stopped knowing each
Yeah.
other yet. And I hope to see you play again very soon, too, by the way.
I
So
will.